Aquaman! Is this the saving grace of the DC universe on film? Yes. Let's get into this review, where I will talk non-spoilers first, then go into full spoilers with fair warning. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to delve into why I think that Aquaman is genuinely the turning point for DC films. Reviewing its pros, of which there are many, and also taking a brief moment to talk about its cons, of which there are few. So for those living under a rock, Aquaman follows Arthur Curry, a man of two worlds, the rightful heir to the throne of Atlantis, and yet shirking his birthright, I guess you could say. This is an origin movie, without a shadow of a doubt. James Wan brought this film to life in a very, very compelling way, and again, if there was any doubt that Warner Bros. And DC are looking to change everything in their universe, this confirms it, more and more. It stars Jason Momoa in the title role, Amber Heard as Mira, Patrick Wilson as Ocean Master, or Orm, Nicole Kidman as Lana, Aquaman's mother, Yahya Abdul Mateen II as Black Manta, Willem Dafoe as Volko, and Dolph Lundgren as King Nereus. To compare it to another movie universe is very similar to the Marvel Phase 1 movies, essentially all the origin movies from Marvel. But to everyone crying out and shouting at me, I'd say it does the origin movie slightly better, but it could just be that the sudden change in tone from Justice League to this had me engaged more, who knows. Either way, we follow Arthur Curry, Aquaman, as he discovers more about Atlantis, more about his future and how he must try and be king, and why he must be king as well. There's some other bits and pieces in there, but generally that's the gist of the whole movie, that is the story. We have the origin of Black Manta thrown in as well for good measure, and some fantastic special effects. So let's talk about the good. There is so much of this film which is set underwater. Warner Bros. And DC obviously had to get the water effects right, and they did. From Justice League, they needed those air pockets to talk in. Completely retconned that right away, done. Great decision there. You want to talk underwater, you just talk. The way everyone moved underwater was really well done. It's something that could have come across awful, but it worked so very well, and I believe part of that is the fact that most of the movie is set underwater. If James Wan hadn't embraced that aspect and just gone full submerged, there would have been way too much of a jarring shock between the underwater scenes and the land scenes. And to complement that, there's also good structure between them. When there are land scenes, they are there for a bulk of the time, and then we spend a bulk of the time in the water, which works as it doesn't take you out of the movie in any way, shape or form. Great choice there. Which leads me on to how they depicted the water. There seemed to be a sort of flowing effect over everyone when they were in the water, which again, not sure how they did this, but it worked great. You get the feeling of being underwater, but it's not too obnoxious or intrusive into your engagement with the movie. The landscapes they managed to create and the world below overall was really something above my expectations. I was expecting certain bits here and there because we had seen some in the trailer, but the extra worlds and other branch off cities and civilizations was definitely unexpected, and to me really worked and added to fleshing out this world underneath our oceans. The budget on effects for this film must have been absolutely sky high, and I can genuinely say I hope it earns profit. This is a world that I would like to come back to. Which brings me on to the tone. So yeah, I'm a fan of Man of Steel, or at least I liked it, shoot me. From Man of Steel to this, you're doing a massive 180 degree on tone, but it works. From a dark and dour looking grade to the scenes, mopey characters, you're plunged into a world of bright lights, crisp lighting, and overall, you'd be mistaken for a complete reboot here. That's how tonally this film has changed from one to another. Aquaman has a lot of jokes, there's even a bit where Aquaman meets fans and they take selfies with him. That's enough to probably tell you how different it is in tone. But again, it works. I was a little concerned with Aquaman's characterization going into this movie, because from Justice League, he was a bumbling idiot shouting, "My man." For me, it didn't work. I didn't like it, and thankfully it's drastically toned down. However, he is still that person, but it's toned down enough and used in just the right times to accent moments of comedy that now make me like the characterization. Now, in terms of how this movie is an origin film and how it tells this origin, we start in the past with narration, but again, it actually worked really, really well. It sort of flitted between times here and there, and it fleshes out the backstory to Arthur and his mother, and of course, his very human father. It wasn't a bad way to do the origin story at all, though I feel if DC had done origin movies first, then gone to Justice League, they would have had a more successful Justice League. Why? Because of characterizations. They would have established what fans like about certain characters and kept to it, merging it all together in one film where everyone likes every character, something for everyone. And you relate more to these characters having seen them before, but I kind of digress there. The action set pieces underwater were awesome, and although some didn't have quite the impact you'd hope, all in all, it was a joy to see these things going at one another in the deep, and the creatures again of the deep were superb. And also, I tell you what, Dolph Lundgren did a great job in this movie. He actually came across like a relatively alright actor for a change. He was a massive surprise. A very pleasant surprise as well. I would genuinely like to see Dolph Lundgren again, and probably in bigger budget movies with better directors attached. This movie is almost like the DC animated films in all the right ways. But that's it for the non-spoiler praise. Let's get into the non-spoiler negatives. The Atlantean armor. Definitely a little disengaging for me, but not horrible. I just thought the design out of the water was too clean and shiny, too plasticky, I guess. It just looked very cheap, which is a shame because it clearly absolutely was not cheap. There was some pacing issues here and there and very odd inserts of actual songs. I'd have preferred it if they just kept a score going through the film rather than songs being played in parts. For me, it removed me from the movie in those moments, and I thought I could have actually just been watching a music video. It was a really bizarre choice. Very, very odd, and I'm sure a lot of people would agree. I didn't really like Ocean Master's motivations for being evil and wanting to destroy the surface world. That was a little cliche for me. But that being said, that's about it for negatives. Outside of that, it was a really fun ride. So now here is your spoiler warning. If you're going to click off the video now, please do, but please subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video. But to those staying, let's get into some spoilers. You have been warned. So the kingdoms of the seas were bloody fantastic. The fact there was a huge underground world in the desert, I absolutely loved it. I was curious how they were going to do that, because of course we saw it in the trailer, but that worked. To me, it absolutely worked. And the creatures from the deep, Jesus Christ, holy crap. The trench dwellers, I would like a movie just about them. What they were before, how they got there now, what they do, and who controls them. Seriously, it was very, very cool. You had these creatures from the deep ocean that were just monsters, and it's explained that they were, I guess, human-like people before, and they'd just gone to the trench and stayed there and slowly changed over time, evolved, or regressed, as they say in the movie. I want a movie just about them. The giant monster at the end was a nice surprise. When Aquaman goes to get Atlan's trident, it's protected by this big monster, which is the one that comes out at the end of the film to kind of save the day, I guess. I still am really confused on where Aquaman gets his new costume from. He gets the trident and then comes out in new clothing. Where did you get it, buddy? Did it come with the trident? Maybe I was tired and I missed something. I watched this at like midnight last night, but it was really odd. It didn't make any sense to me. Like I said, I was really quite surprised by that. It took me a bit out of the movie, but again, not really a negative. It was just, you know, if you're looking at it, it didn't make too much sense. Oh, and also I will say this, outlining Aquaman's superpowers was a really nice touch. His ability to communicate with sea creatures is actually entirely unique, and something that hasn't been seen since King Atlan, apparently. Which was a pretty good touch as well. Really nice to see them fleshing out his powers and giving him something unique to him, which makes him a better character in the world of the Atlanteans, I believe, anyway, because obviously, as a superhero, it gives him an edge over everyone else. Otherwise, the Justice League could just go and get, you know, Atlanteans to work with them instead of Aquaman. So that about wraps it up here for me. This film is getting an awful lot of praise, so I want to hear your thoughts. Did you like this? Did you dislike it? Do you agree with anything I've said? And do you want to return to this universe? Do you want this to be the tone that they take over into all of the other movies? Of course, we are getting Shazam coming very soon. I'm not looking forward to that in terms of the tone. I think that's a step too far. I think with Aquaman, they've treaded a really fine line and they've succeeded. But I think with Shazam, they're potentially just going a little bit overboard with that comical tone. But that's just my thoughts, and I want to hear yours. I've got nothing else to say, so drop all your thoughts down below. Guys, like I said, if you are new here, please do hit that subscribe button so that today on all the world of pop culture, movie news, and these movie reviews. As always, guys, if you like this video, give it a like and share. I've been Mr. H. Take care.